Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Oh, please tell me it's good. Oh no, that's a long pause.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I need to tell you about a thing that happened.
What happened?
Last week we talked about Scissor Man in the Clock Tower series.
Sure did.
The evening that we talked about it, which I believe was Tuesday evening of last week, I had an honest to goodness Scissor Man nightmare.
No way.
And on like straight down the middle, getting chased by Scissor Man. He's going to get me.
Slink,
Yeah. It was spooky. I haven't had like a serious nightmare in quite some time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like most of the time at this point, like my adult nightmares are like I left the heater on, or my laundry is still in the washer and I didn't put it in the dryer and it's gonna stink tomorrow.
Yeah, or like I have an undisclosed medical condition that I didn't know about and am now dying.
Yes. That's that's the bottom of the pyramid of adult anxieties. You gotta.
Life is fragile. Could be gone in any second.
But right near the tippy top is nightmares about like monsters and creatures. Like something I thought was going to be
hierarchy of anxieties,
fears and anxieties. Yeah,
Chase's hierarchy of fears.
Yeah, it's not needs anymore. We gotta.
The sequel to Maslow.
It's me. My hierarchy of anxieties. At the bottom, health concerns, undiagnosed health concerns.
Oh man, for me, the bottom there is probably like student loans too.
Oh sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That one makes sense. Yeah, I think the closer you get to actual hierarchy of needs, the more that base layer is going to fill out. You know, existential dread. That's kind of like my second one up.
Yeah.
Just what's going on? What are we doing here, fellas?
Climate
what's
sadness.
Going on here? Hey gamers, what is existence?
Hey gamers. I don't know if you want to ask gamers that question.
No, I don't.
Gamers at large.
I don't think I need to ask gamers very many questions at all.
Fair enough.
But tippy top of the pyramid is Scissor Man gonna slink his thing and get me.
Slink his thing.
Yeah.
So were you like in what were you in a level? Were you in your own home?
I can't tell you even where this dream took place. All I remember is that I was aware that I was gonna have to come to blows with Scissor Man soon.
He's about to catch these hands, Scissor Man.
I'm gonna see if I can punch him. That was my only plan at the time.
Yeah, you're just gonna punch his scissors because he holds them like over his head and they're very shiny. So you're probably just gonna be looking at those. So you're only gonna be able to punch his scissors.
Gets you.
Yeah, he's like, look at my scissors, punch those, they metal.
Little do we know, he's actually very good at kicking. That's how he takes you down.
He is kind of like in a good front kick stance. Like he's definitely leading with one leg.
He can put all of his weight on one leg and then, just give you a solid boot. Yeah,
because he really just kind of like, most of his weight is on his back leg, and he's just kind of scooting forward with the front leg. So that front leg is pretty ready to zing out and get you.
To do a turbo kick.
Yeah, especially if he can counter his balance with like the scissors, like bringing them over his head a little bit, and then just kick out.
Yeah.
Boom. And then get you in the cojones and then just come down with the scissors. That's a double whammy right there. That's some advanced scissoring.
I will have yet another logistically fueled nightmare tonight, understanding just how Scissor Man's going to get me. I understand it now, and it's going to be even scarier.
Your only hope is Chuck Buster at that point.
Hello, it's Video Game Podtimism. It is the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase, and I had a nightmare, my last nightmare was about Scissor Man.
I'm David, and my last nightmare was about the fear of an undisclosed medical illness.
Yeah,
that's real.
I get that.
That's a real one.
It's sort of the standard.
Wake up in a cold sweat, can't feel my extremities. Feels good. I need Dr. House. Where is he?
Okay, cool. Have you been playing video games?
I have been.
Could you tell me about this?
Yeah. Nothing crazy this week. I've still been playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Still making my way.
Give me more. Tell me more about this game. I'm sure you're farther into it than I ever got.
The gameplay is getting more fun. It's just wild. The gameplay is wild. It's not necessarily difficult, but it gets more engaging. Like it really gives you like your tools slowly throughout the game. Like I'm probably 4 or 5 hours in, and it's still giving me like new things to do.
And does that feel good? Like, does it feel fun?
I'd rather they just do it a little bit quicker.
Sure.
But it is fun to do all these different crazy things. Because you can form change with your Keyblade if you're using a lot of melee attacks. You can do like bigger magic attacks if you use a lot of magic. You can do all your different sorts of team up moves with like the different characters and the worlds and like your main homies, Donald and Goofy. There's like all these different ride moves you can do, which are just wild. Like, those are probably the ones I'm having the most fun with, honestly, because they're just wacky.
It's like a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. You know, there's one that is literally like just you're on like a choo-choo train, roller coaster, going around attacking a Titan. And you're just like, this is so weird. And Mallory came out while I was doing that, and she's looking at the TV screen. She's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you like this anime guy with Donald and Goofy fighting a Titan from Hercules? I'm just like, Kingdom Hearts, baby. Kingdom Hearts.
I do assume that if you don't know the context of Kingdom Hearts, that would be a wild set of images to be on television.
It's like, what the fuck is going on right now? Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts is a funny, unique game. But there's other good ones too. Like they do like the little, it's a new ride. I don't know if you've done it in Disneyland, but you go around and you're like shooting like little laser guns. You try to get high scores. So they have that one on there. She's just like flying around shooting people. Yeah. And then they also have the other one that I was doing the other day that was pretty fun was like a white water rapid raft. And you just like go around and it like leaves a trail of water behind it. And then your finishing move of it is you just like go all along that water like trail that you just left and just like hit enemies. So it's just wacky. Fun. It's just wacky. Yeah. Interesting movement options. You can like target things from far away and then press I think X on the Xbox controller and then get there really quickly and start fucking things up. There's just all sorts. There's like random moves you can do that change with the Keyblade where you like aim at a bunch of different enemies and just press a button and it like hits all of them at once. Yeah. There's lots of different ways to fight in this game, and not to mention all the stuff that they added from Dream Drop Distance they brought over to this one with like the flow motion and the big Dream Eater cat monster things. So you can do all of those things. So it's almost an overwhelming amount of options. And quite often I will look down at my menu on the bottom left that like gives me all the options of what I can do in battles. And it'll just like have 3 or 4 different things that I can do that are like special moves essentially all at once. And I'm like, and it gives me like little timers of like how much longer I have until it goes away, until I can use it. And it's almost a little stressful. Yeah, for sure. Like I'm almost just spending more time looking at that portion of the screen than I am like looking at the enemies, because like choice paralysis. So long as you're just smashing A, you're gonna hit somebody. You know, the aiming is very forgiving in this game, but it's fun. You know, it's just it's wild, it's wacky, it's crazy. It's Kingdom Hearts. I wouldn't say it's the most engaging combat, but it is fun. Yeah. At least when you're like just mowing through your typical Heartless. Like I think the boss battles are a little bit more, you gotta have to think a little bit about it, about how you're gonna get to them, what moves you're gonna use, but it's pretty on rails combat wise. Yeah. But just the spectacle of it all is entertaining. Sure. At least right now.
Have you gotten much farther than like the Hercules level?
Yeah.
Has the story like improved at all? It was like kind of slow in the beginning.
The story is kind of a hot mess.
Oh no.
Because they're trying to explain everything that's come before to people who either have forgotten or this is their first time playing a Kingdom Hearts game. Yes. Which just takes you out of it pretty hard, in my opinion. And still, the voice acting is mediocre at best. Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. It's just the cadence of people's voices just sounds off. Like, it's pretty clear that, like, I don't know. I don't want to assume this, but it sounds like they all just recorded their voice lines separately. Yeah. and they just kind of smashed them all together. Like the game we're talking about today, Silent Hill, I think has better voice acting, and that's a PS1 game. Like quite legitimately, I thought I was actually pretty impressed by the voice acting in that game.
I know, me too. Yeah,
that's for another portion of this podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more into like the gummy ship section of the game too, which is
my favorite.
It's kind of stressful, just because it's like a whole entire another shebang to worry about and think about and like invest resources into. And I just don't know if I care about the gummy ship enough to like want to like really customize my gummy ship to the extent that they're allowing me to.
Yeah.
That part, I wish there was, I almost never say this, but I wish this game was just like a little bit less, more streamlined.
Yeah.
It feels like the kitchen sink they're just throwing the kitchen sink at you because it's been in development for 15 years.
A long time, yeah.
So they've had a lot of time to have a bunch of different ideas about what would make this game cool.
Many systems,
and they are all in here. I can tell you that. They're all here. Everybody's here.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it's somewhat overwhelming playing the game sometimes with how many, like I'm 5 hours in and I'm still getting like tutorial menus, which is stressful to me as an adult man.
Sure.
I just feel like it makes me think like, okay, when does the game start still?
Yeah, I get that.
And I think I've still hit like maybe I've had probably like 2 or 3 different Welcome to Kingdom Hearts like title screens so far. I think there's been 3. I think there's been 3 different ones. Although one was Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Yeah.
But it's a wacky ride, and I'm kind of here for it at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. It's all over the place. It does some things pretty nicely, other things not so well. But I'm just flowing. I'm flow motioning with it.
Yeah.
And that's
good to hear.
I'm on the waves right now. I'm going through it.
As long as it's not like so painful to play that you're just like, I cannot do this anymore, then it's at least there's something there.
Yeah, there's something there. I'm interested to see where the story goes. I hope it goes somewhere well, but I've heard that it does not go somewhere well.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
I've heard. I mean, this is what I've read from the internet. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what actually will happen?
Yeah, that's true. It could be fine.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, it's still pretty. Like, it still doesn't feel like the game has like really gotten into its main storyline or plot points.
Yeah,
like it still feels like I'm just kind of going around trying to get stronger still.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm in the Toy Story world right now.
Yeah,
we'll find out what happens. We'll find out what happened, baby.
I mean, like you could kind of say a similar thing of Kingdom Hearts 2. Like that intro sequence with Roxas is quite lengthy, and like the game doesn't really start in earnest until you're Sora again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying so hard to discern if that's nostalgia or not. If I like the Roxas section because of nostalgia.
I think it was nostalgia. I think I was not down for it when I first played it.
It's confusing. It's certainly jarring to like have to kind of get through that part.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, there's kind of a lot of like fetch quests that happen in there.
They're back, baby. I'll tell you that much right now.
Oh no. Just like running from one end of the level to another.
Yeah, just like trying to find small things and hit them and get something from them. Yeah. Because Twilight Town is the second level of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're back.
Yeah.
Hunter, Pence, Olette, they're there. And then you remember that the Twilight Town that you were in was actually a data Twilight Town. So these ones don't, these people don't know Roxas, even though they were like his best friends in his version of Twilight Town, because Sora lost his heart. So he had to go into Twilight Town as Roxas. Yeah, I had to save him from the data machine with Naminé, and Lee was there.
Naminé, holy shit.
Lee, Axel, Naminé, who is, I think, Kyrie's nobody.
Kyrie's nobody. That is correct.
Yeah, and
I can confirm.
Kyrie and Lee, who used to be Axel, are now training to be Keyblade wielders with Merlin in a place that doesn't deal with time. So they're just like stuck in time, trained to be Keyblade masters.
Okay.
They had this big long scene that was like, oh god, it had to be at least 10-minute cutscene of the two of them just talking and eating ice cream together. And I'm just like, why am I here?
Kingdom Hearts.
Why
Kingdom Hearts.
Why am I here right now?
Yeah.
But it's an experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
For sure.
It feels like almost a game lost in time which it is, honestly.
Which it is, yeah. No, it definitely felt like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, so give it a go and just realize what it is.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm committing to replaying at least some of this to get through it, because I do want to see it through. I do want to see the end of this series.
Right.
Like, it meant so much in my younger years. Like, both the first one and the second one were like monumentally important video games.
Sure were.
Even Birth by Sleep I thought was pretty fucking good.
I stand Birth by Sleep for sure.
It like kind of it simplified the story a little bit. Like,
simple and cleanified the story.
Simplified and cleaned the story a little bit. Like, at the end of it starts getting a little haywire, but like kind of towards the beginning and like almost the middle and end, it's like I understood what was going on to a point that I really enjoyed. Like, it was pretty good.
Birth by Sleep is wildly important to this game.
I know, yeah.
Wildly important.
I heard game. Like it connects up a lot.
The whole thing. They're talking about all the main characters from it.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. So Dream Drop Distance, less as important, but still some things that I never played that. I never played that one to completion. I didn't vibe with me.
Yeah, I had a similar experience.
I just couldn't get through it.
Yeah,
which is a shame because it seemed like it had good potential. But
I know people that like it. So like,
yeah,
who knows?
So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm at least gonna enjoy it for what it is.
What else have you been playing?
I have also been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Whoa, okay.
I'm back in it.
Odyssey is the one in Greece, Rome.
Greece, yeah. Greece, Rome.
Yes.
Greece, Rome.
Yes.
You go to Rome?
What part of the camera?
Chase?
No, I don't think so. I think there's just like, there are Romans there. I'm pretty sure. Aren't there? There's like legionaries.
There's Athenians and Spartans.
Spartans, sorry.
Those are Greeks.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Where are you in this game? It's quite long.
This is a dense, meaty game. Yeah. This is like the lambus bread of video games.
Whoa, what a comparison.
You know what I mean? Like,
a lot to chew on.
One bite keeps you full for a long time. Because I'm literally like in the first section after you get up, like the tutorial island. Yeah. And then I have sunk a lot of time into this one section, and I still feel like I haven't even seen everything there.
The game is fucking gigantic.
This game is really, this really map big. Is so
huge,
big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes me want to go to Greece.
I know, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's a cool map. It's cool, cool map. Cool. I love islands.
Yeah.
I love islands and peninsulas. That's kind of like my... That's kind of my map thing.
You know, I really love a good panhandle. Me and panhandles are great
panhandle,
together.
Not so much. I could leave a panhandle.
Golfs? Are you into golfs?
Golfs are okay, but I just love lots of water in between land that are still then connected by a common trade route or culture or something like that. I just find that cool, like seafaring culture. Waterfaring culture.
I love how, this is very tangential, but like, I love how hot they make it look when you're sailing around in the water and shit. Mm-hmm. They make it look so warm. Like, you can see like the little like heat waves on like the sea. Yeah. It makes it look so fun and just like, ooh, I bet it's steamy as hell out there.
It's that Mediterranean climate. That's why none of those Spartans wear shirts.
Yeah, hell yeah. Love that. Love that for them.
Oh, and the boat is so good.
The boat's pretty good in that one. I did enjoy the boat.
That is a good boat. Mm-hmm. I just love sailing the high seas. I just love it.
Yeah, no, they nailed it in Black Flag, and it certainly continues through.
Sure does. You're not a pirate in this one, but you're still cool.
Still sailing.
You're still a cool seafarer in this. They really nailed their water physics.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's probably the one I've been playing the most. But it's fun. So yeah, I enjoy the story beats. The graphics are really great.
Yeah, they are.
The graphics are surprisingly really good.
Seems like the facial animation was kind of taken up a notch in that game.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And you know, a game like this being made in comparison to something like Cyberpunk takes away some of my nasty gamer boyness about the Assassin's Creed games. But like, this is not easy to make.
No, certainly not.
To make a dense, believable world with lots of cool different storylines and quests to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I think I certainly don't have a problem with like Assassin's Creed. I have issues with Ubisoft because it seems hellish in there, and like they just seem to be not doing anything about it. But yeah, it's certainly still a like development achievement to make what they make. Like, it seems boilerplate because they do it so often. Yeah, and like maybe that formula has become tired. I get that. You know, that's definitely the case, but like most of those games that I've played, I really enjoyed it, and they like you were saying, it makes the dense world very good. I typically prefer games that are smaller and dense, but that one specifically I thought did a really good job of making this like sprawling world also very good.
Yeah.
I think they give you new areas in small and digestible enough chunks that you can go and be like, okay, here's a new area that is like very unique and very different. Or like, here's a whole island that's just totally different and doesn't function like the last one you were on or whatever.
Yeah.
To the point where it still feels pretty fresh, like well into the game.
Yeah. No,
it is quite long, but
yeah,
still.
I think this is going to be like my new Witcher 3, where it's just like in between games, I come back and play it.
Yeah.
Just for a couple missions and then just kind of let it ride for a bit.
Sure.
But to answer your question, where am I in the game?
Oh, yeah.
I just confronted Nicolaus, the wolf of Sparta, who was my daddy.
Yeah, it's your dad.
And I spared him. And he told me to go find my mommy because she'll have more answers.
Okay. Yeah, you are at the beginning of this video game.
I've played for so long left. Still.
I know. Like, that is, I think when he says go find your mom, that's the end of the tutorial. That is when the game is like finished telling you how to play the game.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
I did my first conquest battle.
Yes.
I took over Megaris for the Spartans. So now the real game is afoot, huh?
Yeah, I feel like just at that point, it opened up to the point where it was like, here's your main quest, and you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want now, which was nice. There's definitely a lot of that game. I don't think you've quite gotten there yet, but there's a system in place eventually where you have this like sprawling tree of people that you need to go kill, which is like so much fun and really cool.
Okay.
Because it's like, it will eventually be related to the main story, but initially it's kind of not. Like, you can do them independently of each other, and it just gives you this huge like motivation to go do other shit rather than like just mainlining the like story beats.
Sure. Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes a lot, or it's not exactly the same thing, but it reminds me a lot of the like Nemesis system in the Shadow of War games, where there's quite a few people that
like
you
the
need
mercenary
to go get.
system. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so, right? Where there's like that, like there's like maybe 16 people or something.
Yeah, there's different tiers of mercenaries you have to go and they'll try and find you and kill you.
Yeah, it's a little bit more built out in this one in that like they're characters that have like names and positions and shit, but still it's kind of fun to have like, here's everybody that I need to go get.
Yeah.
And how do I get them? That's fun.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I got absolutely murked by one of these mercenaries who I just like randomly walked by on the street. She demolished me. I had no chance.
Yes. I love that that's part of the game where there is like definite differences between you and somebody who is much higher level than you are. I feel like in, what was it? I think it's Assassin's Creed 2. You could kind of just stand there and like parry everybody that came after you.
You sure could.
And like that, you could kill almost like armies of people by just like waiting for somebody to kill. You parry, slash, stab.
He's just like tripping over the pile of bodies he's made. He's just unstoppable.
So like I like that there's a little bit of like, oh, those people I can't really fuck with yet. It makes the progression feel more significant by the time you're like, oh, I couldn't fight this person 10 hours ago, but now that I've come back, I've got a lot of progress. I can fight this person now.
It does have it does give you a good sense of progression with that.
Yeah.
Just like, oh no, I'm stronger now. I'm gonna get you.
Which you know me. Love that.
Chase loves a little ding going off in his head.
Love a good ding. Love a good proof of ding too. Look at how far. Proof of ding. Yeah.
Proof of work.
Pretty much. I need your ding citations page to show me how good I'm doing.
Can you cite that ding for me, please?
Yeah, you can't use Wikipedia as a ding source.
There are no original dings. All dings have been dinged before, so I need to see your references. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I've been playing. What have you been playing, Chase Albee?
I have been playing mostly 3 games. The first one that I've been playing is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Oh, please tell me it's good. Oh no, that's a long pause.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's not good?
It's not that good.
Oh, bummer.
I really don't want to dunk on this game because like I would feel bad. That's kind of against the whole spirit of the show. But like it's not that good. I didn't love.
It doesn't have Sora.
It does not have Sora. It does not have Sora. Okay, so Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a very similar to Super Smash Brothers video game. The twist being that it stars Nickelodeon characters rather than a bunch of video game characters. it's like it's very similar beats of like you choose a character, you fight somebody, and the point of the game is to throw them off the stage or knock them off the stage until you've won, essentially. That's pretty much it. It's like, let me be clear, it's not bad. This isn't a bad video game.
Yeah.
I think like I just have taken for granted how very good Smash has become.
It's
that
quite
like
good.
it's quite good. I wondered this because I was like, am I just misremembering? Like, am I being sort of like rose tinted glasses of how good Smash is? And I booted up Ultimate not that long after playing the Nickelodeon game, and I was like, no, it's incredible, the stuff that they're doing in Smash. Like, and it really takes the contrast of like something like this to understand like all of the little like edge cases that they've built and like the details that they've considered. Like, okay, so in the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, something that like really stuck out to me was that it feels very quiet.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't understand what is making it so faint. Like, it feels like I'm not playing the video game. And I booted up Smash and I'm like, oh, the characters are making noises while I'm fighting.
Yeah.
And like, you would think that would be not that big of a deal, but you play the game and like the characters are not making noises while they're fighting, and it just feels like very flat and quiet in the video game. I'm like, you're telling me SpongeBob isn't making noises while he's punching Nigel Thornberry?
He doesn't make noises like laugh?
No, nothing. Like there's no character noises in the video game.
No. I need to have SpongeBob's classic giggle and Nigel Thornberry say
something.
Oh my, or whatever he says.
It's if Nigel Thornberry does not say smashing in the game,
that's it.
Is like that is a crime against both Nigel and video games.
Was it a crime? Did it happen?
It did happen. He didn't say it.
He never said smashing?
I never heard him say smashing. And so it ends up feeling a little bit hollow in that way, which is okay, fine, right? Like if the sound design is the only thing that's really like off, like, okay, that's fine. But like the game feels very like stiff in a way. Like, just I think it's mostly the character animations. Like, they feel very like not very smooth between doing one move to another. Like, Korra has one where she like charges up this thing and then just kind of like immediately turns into like a forward punch rather than like the full animation of her like jumping up and going forward.
Sure.
She just like immediately snaps into her being forward.
Gotcha.
And then once her attack is done, immediately comes back down to the ground. And like, again, playing Ultimate, it's like every animation is so considered down to like the frame.
Yeah.
I was playing as like, I think I was playing as like Captain Falcon or something like that. And I was like, they've considered the animation where I'm in the air, I've done my like neutral punch or whatever, where he's kicking in the air. And like, if I land earlier than the attack, he's got a different animation besides the time when he lands when he's not doing an attack. And both of those feel incredibly fluid against each other. And so I think more than anything else, this game has really made me appreciate how fucking good of a job Sakurai and the team over there are doing.
Yeah, that's why no one else has made a Smash type game. I mean, few people just like, Smash is just too good.
I wrote down in my notes, I don't think it's a bad thing, but if you're going to come for the king, you best not miss, man. Like,
yeah,
there are not very many games in this genre. And like, you know, I had played a little bit of, Rivals of Aether. I think that one gets closer. The animation's really good and the characters are really distinct in that game to the point where it ends up feeling very good. But I think that this one is farther away to Smash than that. And if you're not kind of breaking a lot of the formulas that make Smash interesting, like I'm going to continue defending this game, but I think PlayStation All-Stars is probably a better game than this game is. Because it is so different. That game really bucks a lot of the traditions of Smash Brothers. Does different stuff, and so it's harder to compare against. But this one, I think, is because it's going so specifically for what Smash does, it's really hard not to like compare exactly 1-to-1. And if you're doing that, it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't feel as good as Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I think it's still admirable that they're trying. Like, there are not very many games in this genre, and like, it's a very good space, I think, to explore. But I think this one just hasn't hit the mark quite as much. Sure. Which feels bad to say. I was really hopeful for this game.
Yeah, me too. But I am hopeful that this kind of sparks the genre a little bit, because I'm sure there's lots of different companies that have a stable of characters that would be good.
But yeah,
you know, you could do like a what would you want to see? Is there any specific company?
I was gonna say Marvel versus Capcom, but I'm like, that's definitely absolutely already a video game.
That's a thing. That's the thing, but it's not a Smash style game.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, maybe this would make every fan of Marvel vs. Capcom so mad if you turned Marvel vs. Capcom into a Smash video game. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like how furious they would be, in the same way that like if Nintendo was like, hey, we got the new Smash Brothers and it's just like a straight down the middle fighting game, people would be like, are you serious? You cannot be serious with this.
What I want is like a Marvel vs. Capcom style game, but it's How I Met Your Mother versus The Big Bang Theory.
What the fuck? How is that where you went? You are...
Don't you want to see Barney beat down on Sheldon? Come on.
You've invoked yet another reference to Sheldon. I can't believe you've done this. But actually, to give you some credit, young Sheldon is very similar in to
Toon Link,
to Young Link, Toon Link.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go, baby.
Maybe young Sheldon wields a knife.
Oh shit! Young Sheldon cuts people. That's canon now. That's canon.
That's canon. That's Sheldon's dark past that nobody knows about. Nobody's willing to talk about.
It's the series finale of Young Sheldon. He just murders somebody.
Sheldon does a murder.
That's actually where it splinters off. One future is Dexter, the other is The Big Bang Theory.
They don't tell you about Dexter's real name is Young Sheldon.
First name Young, last name Sheldon.
Oh Christ. So yeah, that's that video. Okay.
Cool.
I am still playing. I wanted to just call this out because I'm still pretty actively playing it. I'm still playing Tales of Arise.
Nice.
I will bring that up when I have beaten it. I suspect that I'm close. I got to sort of the end of what I think someone would assume is the end of the game. Like at the beginning of the game, like when you start the video game, you're like, here's where I bet it's going to end.
Yeah.
It has not ended there. And so I suspect there's probably like 5-6 more hours of video game left. And I'm kind of just enjoying like mopping up all the side quests that I hadn't done before. So I'm playing that, but I will bring it up once I've finished it. Cool. The last game that I've been playing, we got to talk about Metroid Dread. We got to get up in this. Two things, two important things at the top. One, I went to my local grocery store, Fred Meyer, on Sunday. And I was like, Fred Meyer has an electronics section that is weird and janky. And I'm just going to go poke my head in there and see if they might have a Switch OLED model. Because I looked on the internet, no dice.
All sold out?
I called Target. They're like, no, we ain't got nothing. All sold out, nothing there. I went to Fred Meyer. I'm like, do you guys have Switch OLEDs? He's like, we only have the red and blue ones. I'm like, but you do have Switch OLEDs. I was like, yes. And I bought one on the spot. I got a Switch OLED. And I love it. It's a very good console.
You are so lucky with these consoles. My God.
I am impulsive in a way that is, the world sort of matches my energy in these moments. I bought my PlayStation 5 off of like the internet equivalent of some dude behind GameStop saying, "Hey kid, you want a PlayStation 5?"
For MSRP?
There was some extra shit that I had to buy. It was like a bundle, but like that's what it would cost them to get it.
Sure.
So that worked out. And then similar sort of things. I bought the OLED at market price. So it wasn't any scalping sort of situation, which I was very relieved with.
Good on you.
Thank you. I had started playing Metroid Dread on my normal Switch and then transferred everything over to the OLED. So just a quick tiny mini section about the OLED. It feels quite good. I like it. I like this.
Does it look a lot better?
It looks definitely better. The dark sections of any video game look really great.
Really dark.
Very dark. Their OLEDs that they just turn off.
Oh, I know, baby, it's my TV.
Yeah, you're the TV monster over there. Yeah, you get it.
I am the TV monster. You're right.
So it looks quite good. I've had a really good time just kind of like booting up my like backlog of video games and seeing like, what does this one look like? What does that one look like? Pretty much every first party Nintendo game looks absolutely stunning on this thing. There is less of a border around the screen too, so like the screen is like just a little bit bigger,
thinner bezels.
Yes, correct. Which I thought wouldn't matter that much, but it does add a pretty significant amount because I almost strictly play in handheld mode, and so like even just a little bit of extra screen feels like quite a bit when I'm playing. So that's really great. The like physical body of the Switch feels a little bit sturdier too, which is kind of nice.
The kickstand looks way nicer too, though. Doesn't it?
The kickstand is a lot sturdier. It's not just sort of this like peg leg that the Switch pops out every now and then. So yeah, I'm enjoying it right now. I think like if you are interested in getting recommendations on this, I am probably not the person to ask for one because I'm impulsive and will just sort of buy whatever garbage and Nintendo is hurling at me at any given time. But I quite like the OLED. I think if you own a Switch already, you probably don't need to get one if you don't absolutely need it. Yeah. My battery was on like death's door, and I was just like,
really?
It just died constantly. Again, I only play in handheld mode, so like. Ooh. My battery is like it doesn't
play in handheld mode. What a Switch gamer over here.
I just so rarely have the chance to be like, I'm gonna dock my Switch and play on the television. Like usually the Switch is like either I'm playing it on the bus back in like 1996 or whatever the fucking year was that COVID wasn't around, or
playing Slay the Spire.
Yes, playing Slay the Spire, or I'm playing before bed, or Em is watching something on the television and I am playing on my handheld. So it's mostly used in the handheld version, and as a consequence, battery life is a big deal to me because I don't want to just like have it plugged in all the time. So a little boost in battery life, love that. You love to see it. Okay, Metroid Dread. Let's talk about this video game. First point, good video game. Very excellent video game. This is probably not a hot take, given when you are listening to this podcast, because you've probably seen some reviews for Metroid Dread, or you've heard some people talk about it. But I am here to echo those same sentiments. Very good video game.
Hell yeah.
I am definitely a fan of this series and this genre of video game, the Metroidvanias. And it is definitely one of those. But it feels really good. I played the one for 3DS, Samus Returns. It was like a remake of the second Metroid.
Yeah. It's made by the same studio, right?
I believe so. I actually don't know that for sure.
I think it was.
But yeah, you're probably right.
Because they have the counter in that one too, don't they?
They did, yeah. And that game, for whatever reason, ended up feeling a little bit sluggish to me. I liked it. It wasn't a bad game at all, and like it was definitely doing Metroid right, but I think just the physical movement of it ended up feeling a little bit sluggish for me. And this game is like nearly the polar opposite of that. Samus is just like sprinting across the screens that you're in. She feels so responsive and so fast when you're like jumping and shooting. It runs wildly well on either of the Switch models now that I've played it on both.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if it's just like it's running at 60 frames a second or what, but it feels incredible. Like in the same way that Super Metroid felt like very responsive and quick, so does this one, or any of the GBA ones as well. So that was like a big relief for me, because I was like, I hope they kind of clear up a lot of the like sort of slower movement that was found in Samus Returns. Let's see. The map is really good. I think Metroid games can fall into a trap where at least kind of more recently, they end up all kind of feeling like a certain shade of mossy rocks is like the level.
Shade of mossy rocks.
And either mossy rocks or like industrial machinery. And like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's here, but I think it just because it's on the new sort of like consoles, it is very detailed, and like the visuals of it are just really great. It ends up feeling very distinct visually from the other Metroids that I've played so far, which I think is really good. Like it makes it feel like a very different experience, and just at least visually. It also combines what Fusion does and did really well, also with, I think, just at this point, kind of modern Metroidvanias and Metroids of old, so stuff like Super Metroid. So what I mean by that is in Super Metroid, we talked about this in Poetry Slam with Samus Aran, that in Super Metroid, the hook of that game was that you, and the designers talked about this, that the game was an arc of you getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You started off kind of weak. You got your ass kicked by Ridley in the beginning of the game, and you got all these powers to the point where you're like really kicking ass in the end of it. And they said specifically with Fusion that they wanted to take away a lot of your sense of power. And so they created, I think it was SAX, Samus Aran X, to like stalk you. And she was like more often than not just like overwhelmingly powerful, to the point where like whenever you saw her, your best option was to just like leave and not be there. And so it was quite the contrast from Super Metroid, where the power curve, if you sort of want to put it that way, was very different. This one strikes a really cool sort of middle ground where there are sections where you are underpowered and very vulnerable, and sections where the opposite is true. The sections where the opposite is true, it's mostly just like kind of standard Metroid stuff where you're kind of wandering around a space. There are monsters and creatures that are crawling around, and you kind of got to, use your abilities and stuff that you've been collecting over the course of the game to get past them or beat them. And then there are other sections that are clearly like goalposted. Like here is the room that you're stepping into. There's like a door type that you can see where there will be these EMMI robots, Emmy robots, that will fuck you the fuck up if they catch you.
Yeah.
Like, they're these just kind of like scary robot looking creatures that can like walk on the ceiling. They will like crawl through tiny spaces and contort their bodies to get through places.
Oh, I hate that.
And the sounds they make when they're crawling around is so scary. Ooh. It's very alien. Like
sure.
The like click of their like robot sounds very like an alien is coming to get you.
Yeah.
If they do like actually catch you, like just literally touch you, you go into essentially like a not a quick time event, but like you have a moment to counter them, but the window to counter them is so slim. I've gotten like maybe one of them off in the 20 times that an Emmy robot has killed me. And if they kill you, like the punishment isn't terrible. You have to go back a little ways, but not to the point where like, when was the last time you saved? You essentially just start outside that room.
Yeah.
But it really drives home the point that like you are vulnerable as fuck in these areas, which is great. It builds tension incredibly well, and the moments that you're being chased by these things are horrifying. It's so scary because like you might not really know where you need to go, and you're just trying to like evade this thing. They create these spaces where like you can kind of slide under little like crevices or jump up onto something. One of the first powers you get is the ability to go invisible, and so a way that you can avoid one of these things is run as fast as you can. It can still hear you, so it knows where you're going. And then go into a room that like maybe you can grab onto the ceiling or something, go invisible and just wait while it comes in the room and looks around for you and then leaves.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I hate that. I hate that in video games. I just have to hang out while something is searching for me. That means sudden death.
Absolutely.
Oh, God, it fucks with my head.
It's great. I think that it's like such an effective way to do it because the sections are never super long. Like they're, you essentially have, if you can imagine like a square of a map, in the middle is like sort of a section that you'll need to cross through to get to the other side. And so like, you're trying to make it to the top of this square or whatever. And so you'll need to cross through there a few times to like get to where you need to go. And so it's not the whole level. It's very helpful that it signposts like where it is safe and where it is not safe.
Yeah.
To the point where like, you're not always on edge. You're just like, oh fuck, I gotta go through here. And like
the only way's through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it makes the places where it is not tense feel a lot easier to not have to worry about it. That like, oh fuck, is an Emmy robot going to come out of nowhere? Or if you're solving a puzzle, something isn't just going to come out and murk you, which I find something that happens in horror games a lot is you're like, okay, I'm trying to think about like, what do I need to do in here? And then like
Scissorman comes out of the fucking
Scissorman comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Just like, it's time to snip. And you're like, dude, I'm trying to figure out how to like orient the clock to open this room.
Snipping hard or hardly snipping, am I right?
Scring, 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 scring. And so it makes it like, I think that's a really good idea in horror games to make it kind of clear, like when you're in a vulnerable state versus when you are not. And like, obviously the places outside of the, the scary sections are still challenging and hard. And like, I've seen reviews that say this game is like too challenging. I haven't really run up against that hard yet. And that's not trying to be like a humble brag. It just hasn't been super bad yet. And so
We're
like,
just really good at video games.
I think I'm just like a pro gamer, TM. But like it is harder, I will say, than like a normal Nintendo game.
Gotcha. Interesting.
It's harder. I will say, like, side note, it's harder, but it's not punishing. Like you rarely have to go back very far to like redo a section. Like if you're bumping up against a boss, like you pretty much just spawn right outside their like room or near it.
It's not like Hollow Knight or anything. There's no like boss run back. You have to memorize the patterns of the enemies.
No, like you know, a little bit, but not significant. Like maybe there's a room between you and the boss. Like it's not that big.
Not
so
bad.
yeah. Anyway, I think that this game is very good. I have not beaten it yet. I've seen people already beating it, so I don't think it's a very long game. But I'm really enjoying it. I love Metroid games, so it's not something that I'm really having to reach for to enjoy. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really good one. It's really interesting to see how this game adapts in a world where Metroidvanias have sort of like grown around this genre. You know, like. It's very interesting to see how they make changes to that and innovate on that, because I think they have here. It's not just like a straight down the middle Metroidvania. There are the parts that make it a Metroidvania, right? Like getting abilities that allow you to access different parts of the map over time. But they also are doing a lot with the like horror sections of the Emmy robots that I think are really good.
It is interesting that they put in that little bit of the different genre in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they do it really well. So that was super cool. Also, just like total side note, this is like unrelated to the mechanics or the story of the video game, but like they really lean into Samus being like a total badass in this game, and I really love that. She is a badass. She definitely is, but like they give her a lot of swagger in this one, and I kind of like that. Like there's a lot of times where she's like at the end of a boss battle or something like that, she knows that she's beat them, and like she'll kind of like put her arm down and like just put the cannon up, like knowing that she has beaten this thing, only to do like a very cool jump and shoot them in the head and like win. It's so cool. I love that.
That's great.
I love her getting the moment of like, yes, we know you're a cool character, so like let's treat her as such.
No, get it, girl.
So that's great. Anyway, this will all bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week. David.
Yes?
It is asymmetrical progress.
Asymmetrical progress. Wow. Okay.
Yes. This is that's a fancy word for how Metroidvanias work.
Sure.
Where you're will
bringing your degree
have
out on this one.
A little bit, yeah. Like you'll have a lot of goals that you need to accomplish, and the game will start giving you certain abilities in sometimes any order. The order doesn't always matter, and so it's kind of up to how well you've designed the map to be able to handle your ability to get other places. Mm-hmm. And Metroid Dread specifically, it's very good at this because there are a lot of instances where you can kind of skirt around the maybe intended path of the game and get to places that like the game probably intended for you to get to later, but you can get there earlier and get abilities that like very much change the way that you are going to go about playing this game. Like, I won't spoil what boss it is, but you can get an ability before one of the bosses that if you get it, you can pretty much just instant kill him.
Shit.
Which is so much fun. Like, that does not feel hacky or cheap. It's like, oh, hell yeah. I got to a place that I kind of maybe wasn't supposed to yet. And as a result, like, I kind of didn't have to fight this boss very hard.
Are you a hacker man, Chase?
I did not do this. I did not do this feat. I just saw it on the internet. I saw on Twitter that it was a thing you can do. So that was pretty neat. I love it when a game allows you to sort of make progress in a lot of different directions rather than just being like, okay, here's the story beat and then this and then this and then this and then this and then this. So it feels very good.
The last 2D Zelda did that really well.
Was that you're talking
Portrait,
about Link Between Worlds?
Link Between Worlds, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That was a good game.
It was a very good game. Like I stand by that being one of the better Zelda games.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that one.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. You can do a lot of things like quote unquote out of order.
Yeah.
And they all work. It feels very good still.
Yeah, in that game I definitely did like the hardest dungeons first by accident, and like I did like the first dungeon last, and I just like wrecked it, and I was like, okay, that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oops.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Do you have just random question? Do you have something fueling your sense of podtimism this week, David?
I do.
What is it?
It's Icaros.
Icaros. The bird?
Yes.
Hell yeah, the bird.
I like the bird.
The bird is good.
I'm into the bird.
Yeah. This is the bird in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
Your bird friend.
My bird friend. It just makes a lot more sense to have like a familiar bird friend who's able to scout out areas for you, as opposed to like having some sort of weird, I don't know, like binoculars or something. Cell phones, yeah. Satellite imagery. It's just more fun to be a bird and like flying around and like use your eagle vision to find the things that you need.
It feels quite good. I was never upset when it was like time to scout a new area, time to go into bird mode.
Yeah, I'm never, because it's just the aerial view is so much more pleasant than like
Yeah,
the
it's pretty.
weird kind of like having to like check yourself up somewhere to like get a good vantage point with your
Yeah.
binoculars and then doing all that. And it's just like, nope, birds just hanging out with you wherever you are.
Yeah.
Here's the area, scout it out. And also it's just nice that you can get a big, beautiful view of the world they've created, which is
Yeah, it is very pretty.
so impressive. So yeah, it's Icarus.
Hell yeah, love that. I also loved my time with Icarus. Cool little burb.
He's a cool bird. He's a friendly bird.
yeah.
A hawk bird.
I think in the new one you don't have quite as easy of a scout.
Because you had a bird in Origins too, didn't you? I never played that one, but
I don't know. I didn't play it either.
Yeah, it's just like in Odyssey, where like if you stand idle, he'll come down.
Yes, I also loved Icarus. That's a good one. I loved this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, do you want to move on to our main thing?
Let's do it.
Hey, it's Good Games. It's the segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush all the things that we love about them. And sometimes we do games that are really good, actually,
Yeah, we sure do.
instead of games that are okay. And this is one of those games that are actually good instead of being okay. Being that it is Spooky Month. We've been doing a little bit of a dip into the spookier games of yesteryear.
Yeah.
First week we did Dino Crisis. Last week we did Clock Tower with Sniffer Man. And
Sniffer man.
this week we are doing... I'm gonna judge your smells. This week we are doing a horror video game, like very much classic. I feel like this is kind of like a cornerstone of the genre.
Oh yeah.
We're doing Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Welcome
video
to
game.
Silent Hill. Is that what they say? Did they say that in that game?
Yeah, when Axl Rose welcomes you to Silent Hill in the beginning of the video game.
Welcome to the hill.
You in Silent Hill.
You're gonna get scared. Listen to both Chase and I's terrible Axl Rose impersonations.
It's not very good. I feel like I would really need to like shout if I was gonna start doing a very good
You need
Axl
to go
Rose.
like outside of the room to appropriately shout for Axl Rose.
Audacity would only be okay with it if I was in my neighbor's house.
It's just like,
doing
nah, dude, just stop. Just
This
stop.
is way too loud.
I ain't ready for this.
So, we're doing Silent Hill. Let me hit you with a few hot stats right here at the top.
Let's hear it.
Hot stats.
So, Silent Hill came out in North America February 23rd of 1999 for the PlayStation 1. And then it came out in Japan in March, so just a month later. It was made by Konami, which we've talked about before, a gigantic video game company, but specifically it was made by Team Silent, which was given their name for their work on Silent Hill.
Sure.
They worked on, I think, most of the Silent Hill games, so that's mostly what they're responsible for. I don't know if it's like apocryphal, like it might just be like this is how people have interpreted the history, but supposedly, legendarily, the team was made up of people at Konami who were like maybe not doing so good in other teams. Like they were kind of misfits of other teams within Konami.
Yeah.
And so they were like, let's just put all these weirdos in one space.
Yeah.
And then those people made Silent Hill, so get fucked, the rest of Konami.
Did you watch Adam Sessler's video?
I did, yeah.
Some crazy shit, dude.
I know. For those interested in a little supplementary reading, go check out Adam Sessler of G4's video on this that they just put out about the team within Silent Hill, because it is quite interesting to hear like where all of them had sort of come from and their backgrounds and all that sort of shit. It was cool stuff. I do have a review from our friends at Joe Video of Silent Hill 1. I have taken the Joe Video's review, which was originally in French, and I have run it through Google Translate through as many languages as I could find, one after the other, and then eventually arriving back in English. And we do this to better understand the intent behind the original artistry of writing a review. I want to prepare you that this one is a little bit short, and it is there's some artistry here. So
Okay.
just sort of mentally prepared for that. So here's without further ado, Joe Video's review of Silent Hill 1. Well, the people of Silent Hill are the same bad, but different in 3D. An in-depth assessment of the renewable energy of this work will soon open up New opportunities. Not much to say. Good game. Innocent. 95 out of 100 from Joe Video. They really big fans of Silent Hill.
Whoa.
As you could clearly tell by that review. Yes.
Good game. Innocent.
No idea what what the intent behind there was.
Provocative.
I kind of had to fuck this one up. I will say I ran it through Google Translate. Like I'll usually do like 10 languages, throw it back into English and see like, is this properly fucked up yet? And it wasn't. I had to go quite far down the rabbit hole to like get it to this
The review
situation.
was too good.
It was too
Too pure. Too innocent.
I could understand what they were saying, and so I had to continually just up the randomizer on it.
Are we slowly destroying this segment by just utilizing so much of Google Translate and just making it more exact?
Yeah, we are training it to be a better translator. It's distinctly possible that some intern at Google's like, yo, I'm getting a lot of data that is very, very helpful from one specific
From one
IP.
Butt B? No relation to Chuck Buster, but Chuck
No,
Butt
different
B.
guys. Both very helpful to the Google brand, but
The G brand, the big G. Alphabet's going to be real happy about it.
could you real quick tell me what the video game Silent Hill is?
I sure can.
Cool.
Silent Hill is a third-person action survival horror video game for the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
It utilizes a fixed third-person camera for most of the game, I would say.
Yeah, it's not like Resident Evil where there are camera positions that it puts you in, but like you're kind of floating around the main character.
Yeah, you don't really have control over the camera. Sometimes you can make it go behind you.
Yes.
If you're in like a wide open space, but oftentimes you don't have much say in the matter.
Yeah.
You play as a man, Harry Mason.
That is true.
Who is searching for his daughter.
Yep.
Who has gone missing in this town called Silent Hill, in which they have crashed their car in.
Yep.
And you wake up with a police officer who saved you, I'm guessing?
Yeah, what was her name? Cheryl.
Cheryl?
No, wait, that's his daughter.
Sybil? Cheryl's his kid.
Cheryl is his daughter. Sybil Bennett.
Sybil, that's it.
Yes.
And she's like, yo, dude, things are fucking weird in this town right now.
Yeah.
If you leave, you might die.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? And before he even steps out of the cafe he's woken up in, fucking dead-ass bird thing comes at busting through the windows.
Scary flesh bat.
Flapping at you, trying to claw your face out.
Yeah.
Ain't good.
No.
Yeah, so it's an interesting game.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Essentially, like the way they progress through this game is you're just given like directions to like go somewhere. Like in the beginning, it's like go to the school, and you have to figure out how to get there. Like there's like big holes in the town that will prevent you from going directly there, and so you kind of have to like solve some puzzles to get there in the first place.
Big holes in the road.
Yeah. All of it, or most of it, takes place in Silent Hill, this like tiny little town. There's like 3 square blocks. It's not a very big town.
No, it's a small middle America.
Yeah, very much. And so like it's not particularly hard to get around, other than the fact that like there are big holes and shit in your way.
And monsters.
And monsters, yes. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup. So why don't we get into gushing? Because I have a lot about this game.
There's a lot of good things to say.
Yes. Shockingly, about a game that was quite well reviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's phenomenal. Where do you want to start? What do you want to start with?
The first thing I want to shout out are the cutscenes. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Honestly, very, very well done.
Yeah.
Very fluid.
Are you talking about like the in engine or like pre-rendered cutscenes? Like which ones?
The pre-rendered cutscenes.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by them.
I know, in PlayStation 1 era, 1999.
Yeah, and after watching Cesar's video and realizing it was one person who did that all.
Yeah, just a guy.
Is very impressive.
Shocking.
That's wild. But they're very emotive.
Yeah.
You know? And I think, in my opinion, that it is good voice acting for the most part. You know, there's some are definitely worse than others, but like, especially, who was it, Lisa? Her voice actress was really good.
Yeah,
she was the nurse.
Yes, I believe that is Lisa. Like a couple people in there are like really putting on like a very good.
But not a show.
No, yeah, it's good stuff.
Some are like mediocre, but others are like bring it a little bit above. So that was the first thing that I was really struck by.
Yeah.
The second thing that I really liked was just kind of how wide open the world was for a PlayStation 1 game. How you could just kind of go anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very hands off, and there's very little. There's no tutorial.
Yeah.
You just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And also, there's no HUD.
Yeah, no. There's nothing on screen except your character.
I love just like the different pulsings that the controller would do to let you know how hurt you are.
Yeah. It like would vibrate faster if you were like very hurt.
Yeah, it would be like a heartbeat, like being really fast, and like a medium heartbeat would be like, oh, maybe you should have a health potion or whatever, a health drink or whatever it is.
There's like a meter if you pause, but like just over in the game, that's like the easiest way to tell if you're like hurt or not.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, no, the presentation is nuts. I was so surprised to be playing it. Like I usually will boot up and play, at least a couple hours of whatever game we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked at how modern this game felt from the perspective of like
modern. Yeah.
Yeah. And like in the way that it gives you very little, but it doesn't feel like hands off in a way that sucks. Like I knew what I was kind of supposed to do. I'm looking for my daughter and I need to get over to this part of town.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then it just sort of like lets the reins off and it's like, all right, go. And that felt like wildly modern in the way that like a Breath of the Wild does or something, where they're very hands off and like, just go do the thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of shit you can run into, which is scary and good. Yeah. But I was like having like active fun playing the game. I was like, this is good. This is a good video game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when the radio starts going off and you don't see anything. And you don't hear anything, you're like, oh God, run.
Yeah, like one of the ways that the game alerts you to the presence of enemies is that there's like this static that will start playing on this radio that you're carrying around. And they establish this really well, where in the very beginning when you're in this, like, I guess it's like
it's a cafe before that bat bird thing comes flying in at you after the cop saves you.
Exactly. Yeah. So like you're kind of fucking around in the cafe, and there's just this radio sitting on the counter that starts making this noise, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then you go over to get it, and the bird bat thing crashes through the window. And so it establishes very early, when there is danger around, this is the sound that will play. And so the very next time, yeah, exactly. And so when you're wandering around the town, you'll start to hear that and you're like, oh fuck, there's something near me.
Yeah. And it like increases, it'll like slowly be like a little buzz. Yeah. And you keep walking and it keeps on getting louder. And you start hearing something off to the side. You're like, oh God,
something's over there.
And you can't see it because the game's all fog.
Yeah. So what worth getting into now that like when you're in the town, the draw distance is exceptionally low, on partially, I think, on purpose and partially as a technical limitation, but you can see not very far in front of you at all. And that really aids the game, because like you hear the sound of like an enemy is near you a lot earlier than you can see it. Mm-hmm. And so it builds this terrifying tension of like, where is the bad guy? I don't know where it is. Yeah. I might get fucked. Is it behind me? I have no clue. Mm-hmm. And so like, there's just constantly these like monsters coming out of the fog at you, which is so scary. It's so exceptionally scary wandering around this town.
And it does a good job with the sound design too, in that way, not just like alerting you to things, but the lack of music a lot of the times, where it's just like, there'll be sections where all you're hearing is just your footsteps. And that's
just dude running around.
Everything else is quiet.
Yeah.
So it really like, it plays into the whole Silent Hill aspect quite nicely in that way. And that it's not afraid to just let all of the auditory stimulation drop out and just let you kind of sit.
Yeah.
It's just the visual stimulation of the world, and really kind of lets your mind wander in that way when you're lacking one of those sensations. Like, okay, now I can only see if there's something near me, which makes things scarier when you like lose one of those senses.
When you're expecting to hear it. Yeah.
Or when one of those senses is kind of empty, like you're getting nothing from it. So you have to rely on everything else a lot more.
One of the I think the first boss that you encounter, which is in like this like fucked up basement of the school.
Yeah.
Is this big like lizard thing.
Reminded me of the Dodongo lizard from...
It's very, it looks very similar to the Dodongo, absolutely. Yeah. And when you enter the space, like that whole section is like characterized just by terrifying noises going on in the background. And
the middle school's fucked up.
Oh my God. And you get down to the boss and it is just so quiet. Like not very much noise, not very much going on. And there's just this hulking creature on the other side of this room, which is so scary after like all of this noise and shit.
Maw just like opens up so big when it comes so at scary, you. It's like just gonna chomp you so hard.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I have so much shit to say about the sound design. It is like next level. I read this story that the sound designer Akira Yamaoka, I think is how you say it. Mm-hmm. They had pitched the music and sound design to the team. They're like, okay, here's what I think the music should sound like here. Here are the sound effects that should play here. It was it was said that like at the time the team was like, had suspected that the sound was broken. That they're like, oh, your sounds aren't working correctly. Like this isn't what it's supposed to sound like. And he's like, no, that is it. Like that's what this video game is supposed to sound like. Just because it's like dissonant. It's dissonant and fucked up and sounds like something is broken in the way that it like loops and goes around from one part to the other.
Yeah,
so scary. Oh my God.
It creates like this manic, feverish, dream-like quality to the game. Yeah. You know, because the music just kind of, it's just like, it almost sounds like an air raid siren in the background for a lot of it.
When
it gets like
voices,
really intense or like really like booming, kind of like low bass notes just pulsing like a heartbeat. Yeah. And it's just like, it just goes and goes. And sometimes it'll like the music will twist itself and it's just like one subtle way where it's just like noticeably different, and then it'll continue going. You're like, what did that? Why did it choose to do that at that point? Like, was it responding to something in the environment? Was it something I did? So it fucks with you that way too, in that the gamer knows that you can do things to make the music change in the game.
Yes, sometimes.
And like fucks with you and just changing it for no reason sometimes.
Yeah, it is constantly trying to build this sense of like disorientation.
Yeah.
And the music does that a lot. The sound effects do that a lot, where it establishes so early, like, here's this radio thing, and it is this scary, spooky sound that plays when an enemy is close. And then other times, like, oh, there's a bigger enemy than this other noise is playing. Okay, also scary. And then sometimes, like you were saying, just some other noise will join the cacophony in the background, and you're like, is there something chasing me? Is there something bigger monster? What is going on?
Like a stealth monster, maybe?
Exactly, and you have no fucking clue. And so it's so often just like scary. Let me play you a little bit of a sampling so the listener can also enjoy. Let me play you this bit. This is the music for the final boss battle in the game. Mm-hmm. Horrible.
Yeah, that is awful.
Like it's noise. There's like no music there. It's just like sounds.
It's just like if Death Grips made a video game soundtrack. Just experimental noise.
It's horrible. It's so hard to listen to.
Then just like machine gun noise in the background.
Yes.
Snare.
God, it's so bad. Like it borders on being like, I need to pause the music for a second to just give myself a moment of relief from the sounds that are happening. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like that constant stimulus.
Yeah.
Messes with you after a while.
Yes, yeah. Which like it's shockingly effective. Because that is just the music. We got 45 seconds into that song, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
I'm good now.
That is enough music.
I'm good.
Versus like all the terrifying, scary imagery that's happening on screen. You're in total control, and you need to figure out how to like progress through the level. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Like it is a lot at once in a way that like I don't see that used very well in other games. Like usually it's like music, or like music specifically like this is scary time. It's time for scary time
This
music.
is scary time music.
Versus like this is just like noise that we're playing that is intended to be terrifying. You had mentioned air raid sirens. Let me we've watched this before. But can we watch just like the first couple of minutes of the Silent
so
Hill?
good.
It's so good. So like to set the scene a little bit, you have been given very little in the game at this point. Like there was a cutscene of Harry crashing his car.
There's a very confusing opening cutscene, which shows you a lot of different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on, and it explains very little other than like, I need to find my daughter. I think she's here somewhere. And you're shown like this kind of snowy and foggy town. And up to this point, you are essentially just like following what looks like her. She's like kind of like wandering around the town, and you can kind of barely see her.
Yeah. Oh, so spooky.
It's so spooky just on the face of it. Let's just get a little bit of sampling of the sound here. Just like droning nonsense. And so you immediately come into this like back area, which is covered in like
dog,
some sort of gore. It's almost indistinguishable. This scene is incredible. Like the camera angles here, where it's like just like swinging you around different places and like constantly disorienting you. Like you have no idea. It's the air raid sirens you were talking about.
The air raid sirens fuck with me, dude.
Oh my god, it's
one of the
so
scariest
scary.
noises.
Oh my god, like literally, it's like the indication of impending doom, right? Like something bad is about to happen right now.
It's either a tornado, a missile, a tsunami, something fucked
bad.
up, something bad.
So you're wandering through this back area and just like increasingly terrifying images. Yeah,
a gurney in the back alley.
Which, hold on, pause. Harry Mason, a bravery icon. Like, my man is walking through this fucked up hallway and is like, you know what? I saw the gore at the beginning. I hear the air raid siren. I saw the spinning wheelchair, the gurney with gore under it. I'm going to go ahead and keep going.
I think this is fine.
This is totally fine.
This is fine. This is normal.
This is where I'm meant to be. And he like just continues down this hallway where, again, listen to the sound of this.
It's just as becoming industrial horror at this point.
Scary, yeah.
What is this?
Great question, Harry.
What's going on here?
Also good question.
If What's Her Face was here, it'd be, that's disgusting.
Yeah. And then these like impish little creatures show up with knives.
Fucked up ghoul kids with knives.
That's my favorite Tyler, the Creator song.
I'm a fucked up ghoul kid with knives.
Also,
this part was terrifying.
The place that you came from is blocked off now.
Just like, I guess I'm just gonna get murdered by these children. Ghoul children with knives.
And so they kill you. Like, that's the beginning of the game. So overwhelmingly scary, that intro.
Yeah.
Like, I have not experienced more dense terror that early in a video game.
Really makes me want them to remake it.
I think they had tried to put out a remake like whenever in like the 2010s or something like that.
They did an HD remaster of 2 and 3, but never the original.
Oh, it was never the first. Yeah.
No.
I mean, so I was going to talk about this, that like the graphics of the game for me really add to it. Like that it is haunting in its visuals.
Sure.
Because it is not very accurate in the imagery that it's showing you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
At the time, it sort of just read as like, this is a technical limitation. This is just what people look like on the PlayStation 1. But like after, having played, Metroid or something like that, or something where the visuals are like so pristine and I know exactly what I'm looking at, it's so scary walking into this video game.
Like, what even is that?
What is that?
There?
Yeah. Or like even Harry himself is scary. Like he's grotesque. That's not what a human looks like. And
Harry,
like,
you're disgusting.
yeah, and like it reads a lot more scary as a contemporary of like a game in 2021, which I kind of love. Like, it was even scarier than like just kind of saying like, oh, this is, I'm kind of having to read between the lines of what I think this game should look like or what it's trying to say, to like, this is what it is intending to look like. Is so much scarier. It's so terrifying.
I see what you're saying.
What's those what are those like paintings, the like Hieronymus Bosch paintings that are like depictions of like the underworld that are like terrifying and scary?
Like Jupiter eating his child or something?
Yeah, it was like Goya or whatever. That like it is scary in that way. Or like Dali or something in the way
It's
that
impressionist.
Kind of like the way that it is intentionally being inaccurate in how humans are depicted makes it so scary.
Sure.
Like, if it was photorealistic Harry, I'd be like, I understand what this is, but because he's just this kind of walking polygon, it's so scary.
He's a walking polygon.
It like doesn't look real, but it looks close enough that I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the lizard brain in me is disgusted by what I'm looking at.
Sure. It's just adds to the confusion and the disorientation of the game.
Yeah, it's just another checkbox in the already lengthy list of what is making this game scary at a baseline.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this fucking video game. It's so good.
It's a good game.
It's a good fucking video game.
Good game.
How far did you get into this, by the way?
I got to about the middle school. I didn't get super far.
Yeah.
After a while, the controls just kind of got to me a little
It's a little challenging, yeah. Like, especially in the indoor sections, like the camera's a little bit more hard to use.
Like, I just kept on running into things and just classic fixed camera angle issues.
Yep, it happens.
I don't think it would have been as big of an issue with me if I could have used the control stick, but I had to use the D-pad.
The D-pad, yeah.
The D-pad is not made to navigate around a 3D
Traverse
space.
a 3D space.
It's not made for that. You could get it to work, but it is far from ideal coming back from playing modern games, right? So much of this game feels modern, except for the controls.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I honestly didn't think like the combat was that bad. I feel like there was a generous auto aim. You could definitely time how to like hit people with melee weapons pretty easily. But really it just came down to the movement controls for me, because I feel like there's a difference between, purposefully hamstringing your control options in a horror game to make the tension more intense. Yeah. And then just like having kind of wonky controls. And I feel like this was towing the line between those two, but definitely erred towards the side of just kind of just a little bit of on the wonk side, on the wonk side, in my opinion.
I'm sure like it's a little bit of both. Like, they were probably intending to take a certain amount of control away from you, especially in those scenes where, like we just had seen with the like alleyway section where the camera's like looking at you and then pulls up and out and then behind you. Like, that I think is very intentional in the way that it is taking control away from you to the point where you're supposed to feel disoriented and scared and not in control, versus, like you said, like, I need to see the door that I'm looking at. Can you please like just let me line up with the door correctly?
I know where I'm supposed to go.
Yes,
it's just physically doing it is difficult.
And that seems definitely like a technological limitation of the time.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I'm definitely more willing to be forgiving of that sort of stuff, but you're right that like it is a little challenging to sort of like navigate the video game from time to time, especially like we said in the interior sections of it. Yeah. All that said, like the school is where the game really starts hitting the fan, which is really good. Like it becomes very scary. In the school.
It's spooky.
I don't know if you got to this part, but like there is a section where like you're wandering around the school and things are fucked, right? Like there's those little like goblin creatures wandering around. A normal amount of fucked. Yeah.
You know it, you love it.
And at some point you go up into this like tower and you come out on what appears to be maybe another side of the school, or is like something else. And it is like pretty much just a mirror image of the place that you've already been. So like you can wander through the halls that you've already been through, but everything is like this, like in the beginning of the game, it's this industrial, like metal cold area instead of it being what looks like a normal school, which like the it's intentional, right? Like this, what ends up happening in the story is like there's this like other world that these cultists are trying to like merge with Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And that's the other world, this like cold, metal, bloody place that they're trying to like bring into our world.
Fucking cultists, dude.
I found that such a scarier version of another world compared to something like Doom, where like it's just like hell, you know, like blood and guts and fleshy sort of other places, whereas the like hell that's merging with Silent Hill is this just like rusty metal cold place.
It's old Greg, a rusty spoon. Oh no, salad fingers. That's it.
Salad fingers, yes.
Fuck. Salad fingers.
Yeah, it's. I found that such a compelling and terrifying concept that like this is the other place that this place is turning into.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it shows you as opposed to telling you, you know, which I think is also pretty modern of it. And it almost, honestly, when I was playing it, I felt like I was almost playing like an Ari Aster movie.
What?
Know? Ari Aster.
I don't think I know what this is.
He's the guy who directed Hereditary and Midsummer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So horror director guy who deals with like a lot of cultists and stuff like that, and is very much in the like obscuring what is going on.
Yeah.
To you, it's just like putting you in there and letting you experience like this crazy chain of events that happens.
Yes.
It definitely feels like he might have gotten inspiration from games like this as a young lad.
It's
potentially.
Totally possible. Hereditary feels very similar to Silent Hill. That's true.
Yeah. Especially, Hereditary in particular. God, that was a good movie. He's only 35. He definitely could have played this game as a youngster.
He was probably like peak time to be playing it too. Because I was like, I played this with my dad. And I was probably way too young to be playing this with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, if you were like a 12, 13-year-old, this would have been perfect. But I was like so scared of this game.
Uh-huh. Yeah, dude, this game was scary.
I played that first level with my dad, and I think I was like, I'm good, dude. Like, I love video games. That's my whole thing as a person. But fuck this. I cannot handle this.
I'm out. See ya.
If I remember correctly, I think my dad beat this game, which is shocking given how like opaque and kind of confusing the later parts of this game are. There's also multiple endings, and I think my dad got one of the bad ones and was like pissed. He's like, what the fuck is this? This sucks. Yeah.
That always is the worst when you get a bad ending in a game you don't know why.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It feels like you did something wrong, or it's like punishing you for not knowing what it wanted.
It's challenging too, because like I get why horror games do it, right? Like to set the stakes of like things are going to matter if you fuck something up. But a lot of the times it is like, did you talk to this person, or did you collect this vial of goo?
Did you get the star herb?
Yeah, like if you just like explored the town well enough, versus like it's not. I keep going back to this video game. I'm sorry, everyone, but it's not like an Undertale where doing the pacifist run is an incredibly intentional thing that like you need to be doing constantly. Versus like, did you just get the MacGuffin from 2 levels ago? Did you pick it up?
Yeah.
That seems like not a very good reasoning for getting a good ending. Other than buying the Prima video game guide.
Oh man, that's the ancient scriptures.
Absolutely.
The ancient text.
The ancient text. Did you read very much about like the story of this video game?
I played the game and I did a little bit of a walkthrough, but it was very confusing.
It's pretty nuts.
It's very confusing.
It's pretty nuts. I read through it a couple times to be like, I know that there's like something here.
There's an evil old lady and her kid, and they're demons?
I think they are working for the devil. Essentially, like the cultists are trying to rebirth God, which is a very cool concept.
Rebirth actual God?
And no, I think bad
or like
God.
Satan God.
I believe in this case it's incubus.
So bad God.
I think bad God in this case.
Incubus, the band?
They're trying to rebirth Hoobastank. They're like, damn, dude. Did you hear the reason I loved that song?
I'm spinning out of control. Out of control.
Yeah, that song did kind of slap. I like that
Hoobastank
song.
That was middle school me was like, this song gets me. I am spinning out of control with my hormones.
I don't know why during that I was like, they are trying to resurrect Yellow Card, the sort of alternative, I guess, pop punk band.
Who else would be a good one to resurrect?
Puddle of Mud, maybe.
Puddle of Mud.
A band that like is very much dead and needs a resurrection. Stained. Yeah, so they were trying to resurrect God or give rebirth to God. And one of the people who was involved in this process was like, actually, fuck this, and like split the soul of what was her baby, I think, into like two, such that they couldn't perform the ritual anymore. And then one of the halves of the babies was your kid, Cheryl. And so like, idea being that she's going back to Silent Hill to try and like fulfill this.
So Cheryl is one half of this lady's kid?
I think so. I believe that's the case.
Whoa.
Alessa? Or Dahlia. I'm not sure, one of them. But I read through the wiki quite a few times to be like, what was the story of this thing? And just like, for the life of me, could not grasp it, other than the fact that they were trying to resurrect God, which is cool.
Gotta resurrect God, bro.
The like final fight has you fighting their like resurrected incubus, which is like cool as fuck.
You kill God in this game?
I think so. They're resurrected God. I think the good ending, you like escape with the new baby, which is like the two halves of this child put together, with Sybil, which is kind of neat.
She lives.
She in one of the endings, in one of them, you do have to kill her. I think that's the ending my dad got. He was not happy about that. Anyway, my understanding also is that that baby is the protagonist of Silent Hill 3, which I was not aware of.
Yeah, because he's a protagonist of Silent Hill 2, and then she takes over for 3, right?
I think 2 is an entirely different person.
2 is a different person. It's not Harry Mason anymore?
I don't think so, no. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure 2 was like kind of self-contained, which is also fucking nuts. Like, it's worth touching on that. Like, a lot of people say that 2 is the better of the games. And like, I think I get that. Like, it is saying a lot more than Silent Hill 1 is, and sort of like each one of the characters in that game like represent a certain sort of like kind of trauma and how people respond to that trauma. And yeah, I like totally get why people list that as like, this is the better of the two. But I think the groundwork set by Silent Hill 1 is just like a very interesting space to explore, because there was a lot of what feels like giant leaps being made in the genre here. Yeah,
most definitely. I think just in video games in general, things were leaping forward with this game.
Yeah, totally.
Just with its technical achievements, I think, and just kind of how modern it felt, and throwing you in. And we didn't even talk about the map. I thought the map was excellent, honestly, in this game. Yeah. And just how it evolved and still gave you good info. But yeah, just a very, really well-made game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was shocking. I was very pleased to replay this one. Again, usually it's like, all right, I'll put, an hour into Extreme G3 Racing. That's a pretty good game. But like Silent Hill 1, I was like, I got to make some time to go play the rest of this. I got to get through this fucking game. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's a shockingly good video game for coming out, 22 years ago or whatever, 23 years ago. I think also like Silent Hill 2 would be worth playing through, I think, the entire game, whereas this one, I think you can get a pretty good idea about what it's doing with, a couple hours under your belt. Silent Hill 2, like from everything that I understand, like you really do need to see the game through to the end to see what's happening. Yeah, it's fucking good. At some point we should do it, but we would also have to sink time into playing the whole fucking thing, which is a lot.
But hey, Konami's thinking about bringing back their games, actually, as the pachinko machines, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see, man. I hope it's the case, but I'm not holding my breath.
It's going to be a pachinko minigame in all of them.
Okay, do you have anything else that you need to say about Silent Hill?
Sure do not.
Cool. Hello gamers, we're on Twitter. If you would like to reach us there, you can find us at Podtimism. That's where we post the links to our episode. I would be shocked if you didn't know where to find those, given that you're currently listening to our voice here. But yeah, it's out there. We will sometimes post a little video auxiliary for our episodes if there's a scene that is particularly spooky that we need to show you. What else? If you want to email us, you can do that. podtimism@gmail.com is the place where you can reach us. If you would like to help the show in one way or another, there are two main ways you can do that. The first is you can go on probably Apple Podcasts, give it a review, say, hey, this podcast
slaps.
It slaps.
Or it doesn't.
Or it doesn't. Or maybe it's not so good. Whatever you want to say.
Maybe it just claps.
Maybe it just claps. Maybe no slaps. Maybe just the claps. That would help us out greatly. Or definitely the better of the two things you can do. for a burgeoning indie podcast, 82 episodes in, is show a friend and tell them, hey, I like video games. You like video games. Do you like Silent Hill? Are you too scared to play it? Well, I am too. But these two bozos will tell you about it and how good of a game it actually is.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. It's a good video game. So that's those are your options if you want to help us out. Also, a totally valid thing to do is to just keep listening. That's an option available to you as well. Finally, the most important piece of information right here, right at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. We saw some bump in listenership, which was pretty neat recently. Slightly, ever so slightly. And
Rufus spreading the good word.
Fucking true. And that's always good to see. We don't necessarily do this for the views, but it's always kind of encouraging to see some other folks enjoying a certain blend of Podtimism spices. So yeah. We greatly enjoy making this, and we greatly enjoy that somebody else likes spending their hard-earned time, the one thing that we have on this earth.
Hard-earned free time. My God.
Listening to this. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, capitalism takes all the rest from you.
It's fucking
And
true,
I'm
dude.
goddamn honored that you spent your free time listening to the two of us talk about video games.
God, I'm surprised people don't just fucking sit and like meditate until they have to go back to work. Fucking, the system sucks.
Sit, meditate, think about ways to bring the system down, whatever you want. How to start the revolution. Not gonna say anything, but like what else are we gonna do?
But just let me know where the flyers are going.
Let me know. Yeah, let me know.
So yeah, thank you so much. David, do you have any gaming wisdom to take us out this week?
Yeah. So if you're lost in a spooky town,
Yes.
and your daughter is somewhere in there, and she's lost as well, and you're trying to find her.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe just leave.
Okay. I will say, not great parent advice, but like just on the personal human.
Leave. Get some reinforcements, bro.
Fair. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
You could have got the cavalry.
Yeah.
Bring in the National Goddamn Guard.
If there's like little demon imps running around, yeah, I think like somebody who may have been trained for this is probably better equipped.
One man. Ain't nobody get through this game on a perfect run.
No.
On their first time. Without a guide. You're gonna die. So if this happens in real life, you go and you get the cavalry and you save your little baby girl.
The best offense is a good retreat to get the National Guard.
To get the big guns.
to get Dog the Bounty Hunter to go find your baby.
Ooh.
Imagine Dog up in this situation.
That should be the next Assassin's Creed game.
Can you imagine if that was the fucking end of this series, was Dog doing like the leap of faith off of a building into a haystack?
His fucking golden locks just flowing behind him as he just falls into a haystack.
The bird call behind him and everything.
It would probably be him like diving off of a 2-story building in New York City into like a pile of trash with like some rats scurrying out underneath. That's the modern Assassin's Creed.
I would very much love this game if Ubisoft could just greenlight the Dog the Bounty Hunter DLC for Assassin's Creed. Like that's a really good video game. I'm waiting for that one.
He could be Dog the Assassin Hunter and he'd be a Templar.
Oh my God. Digging into Assassin's Creed lore, David, my goodness.
That could be a game. That could be a game right there.
Listen, that could be a game.
Should it be? Should it be a game? Maybe.
Your game
Could
designers,
it be a game? Yes.
Your game designers are too busy considering if they could build the game and not why.
Whether they should.
My Jeff Goldbluming is not so good today. I apologize.
It's okay. I got you. If or should.
If
they could, or should they, could they?
If they dog, then they bounty hunter.
If you can dog, then you should think about whether you should bounty hunt.
Assassin's Creed 5 dog
it's
edition.
way more than 5 now, isn't it?
I'm just putting a number on it. Assassin's Creed 13 Dog the Bounty Hunter edition.
Assassin's Creed Dog the Bounty Hunter Dog edition featuring new bounty mode.
I wish I knew how to do an impersonation of Dog the Bounty Hunter. I have no idea what this man sounds like.
I've never seen an episode, but it's just funny.
Hey, it's me, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Voiced by Mario.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Voiced by Chris Pratt. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's so cool. There's a lot of memes in this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, everyone.
All right, see ya.
Bye.